Hey guys, King of Charmanders here, and today I bring to you the best Chameleos weapons guide for this new poison meta. We're going to analyze the weapons of the new Elder Dragon of Season 5, with of course Chameleos weapons being poison weapons. And here's a big disclaimer, Chameleos is an Elder Dragon. So you're going to have to take a lot of materials in order to build this, because Elder Dragons take a whole lot of work. If you know, you know, as the only, I think I am the only top English content creator for Monster Hunter Now right now, with a Max Elder Dragon weapon, let alone 2 of them. I can tell you, if you have one, you already know. If this is your first paid ticket event and you're like, I want to grind my booty off this weekend to get a Max Elder Dragon weapon, because it's totally possible. It's going to take a ton of work, and get ready to bust your buns for this weapon. Or weapons, if you're lucky enough. First, let's get started with the list of Chameleos weapons. First off, we have the Greatsword, which is called the Foreboding Shamshir. The Hammer, which is the Diamalto's Dream. The Longsword, which is the Phantom Mirage. The Dual Blades, which is the Dual Chameleos. Couldn't it have had a cooler name? I'm just saying. The Charge Blade, which is the Ether Ward. The Gun Lance, which is called the Venomous Attar. The Switch Axe, which is called Bowler's Mirage. The Bow, which is called Demon's Guidance. The Light Bowgun, which is known as the Cursed Lamp. And last but not least, the Heavy Bowgun, which is called the Veiled Chameleon. Next up, we have the Chameleos weapons for its stats. So, Chameleos weapons will start at grade 6, with the element being poison. And its base raw attack is 601, with the base status attack being 345. And the base affinity is 0%, so there is no positive or negative affinity. Now as you upgrade to Chameleos weapons, to max, the raw attack value will get much higher. So you're going to see it get a whole lot higher when it is maxed out. And if you want to forge the Chameleos weapons, here's what you need. You need 8 Chameleos bones, which are rarity 1, 2 Chameleos tails, which are rarity 5, 4 Elder Dragon blood, which is rarity 4, and of course the ever so needed 1 weapon refining parts, which are rarity 3, as well as 3000 Zenny. And if you want to max the Chameleos weapons, here they are at grade 10.5, with the element still being poison, and the max raw attack being 2017. Along with the max status attack being 522, and unfortunately the max affinity is still 0. However, once you max out the Chameleos weapons, they have a high raw attack and status attack value. So if you look right there, a whooping 2017, which is huge, and a very high status attack. But just like I said before, it's a lot of materials. You want to max them out, so here's the cost. And unfortunately, just like with every Elder Dragon, you have a unique rarity 6 known as the Chameleos Horn for Chameleos. In addition, you need 24 weapon refining parts and 417,000 Zenny. From personal experience, if you are doubling your rarity 6 materials, this can get you about 150 to 200 Chameleos slays, or less if you're lucky, if you are lucky. And as someone with 2 max Elder Dragon weapons, this is pretty much the consistent rate. I think I went less than 150 because I got lucky on Near Gigante, but Kushala, we got some problems. I had to backhand so many of them, I cooked so many, and I think it took me like 170 something before I got all, like, everything I needed for Kushala. But yes, again, as someone with experience, and you know, one of the only ones I could tell you it as far as, because they're really that hard, it's a lot. Moving on, the bread of the bread, the butter of the butter, what you've been looking for. And are these things really that dang good? Well, we're going to start off with melee, the poison monster melee types, and here's the damage comparison. So we're going to take a look at all of the poison monster melee types as of Season 5. And as we see per the data, Gold Rothian, raw-wise, is the strongest. It has the highest raw value, but if you look at that number right there, at 522, Chameleos has the highest status value. Which means that Chameleos weapons are going to be proccing a lot. And even though it is lower on the spectrum, it's still only the second. So it's still second best at like 7% if you look at right there. With the even with the affinity boost. However, this doesn't take into account Poison Exploit, which gives even more damage to Gold Rothian. So even though this is without skills, so with skills, Poison would go to a Poison Exploit, makes Gold Rothian much higher. Well, not much, but it would definitely be higher. So generally, you want high damage versus high status. So you want high damage and low poison value or status value. That's how it usually works with status weapons. But nowadays, because weapons are getting more buff, etc., you don't really need to do that. And The thing about Chameleos, and the great thing about it, it has the best of both worlds. It has a high raw attack value off the bat with the max at the second best, in fact, and it still has the highest status value. So you're going to still be proccing a lot, and you're going to still be making up that high damage with that high at second best. You can't beat it. Well, you can beat it, but that combination, it's pretty dang good. And now that we have melee out the way, here's range, starting off with the light bowgun. And we're going to take a look at all the poison monster light bowgun types as of Season 5. And when you add Chameleos to the mix, there's actually only 2. So as we see per the data, Gold Rothian is the strongest, of course. However, Gold Rothian has spread ammo, so it forces you to be up close to maximize damage. It's one of those weird ones where you're like, oh, spread ammo, yay. Must go into the face, smack it with the pan or whatever you want to smack it into, and then you're going to shotgun it to death. Well, Chameleos doesn't have that problem. So that's kind of the difference, the only difference between these two, as far as damage-wise goes. And that leads us to the ammo analysis for the light bowguns. Poison monster types, here we go. Only 2, like I mentioned before. And you have spread for Gold Rothian, and you have pierce for Chameleos. So you want to choose to either be up close and personal, or you want to be far away. However, we're going to look at the overview later on, or at the end of this video, to see which one's better. Generally, Chameleos is safer with pierce ammo, but again, with Gold Rothian, it does allow you to do a lot of damage if you're up close. But despite this, the numbers are still not super high, meaning that Gold Rothian isn't going to blow Chameleos out of the water just because it has spread. On to the next one, where there is light, there is heavy, and we have the poison monster types heavy bowgun damage comparison. So unlike the light bowguns, you have all 4 of them with the heavy bowgun. So all the top poison monster heavy bowgun types as of Season 5, you put them together, and Gold Rothian just takes everyone's cake. It steals its money, it takes the other 3 and slaps them in the face, and it's just too dang good. That's with a heavy bowgun. So we're going to look at the ammo so you can see that comparison, but if you just look at it right here, and for those like my praises with it, and for everyone that's used it, the Gold Rothian heavy bowgun just dominates poison. And here's that justification. You see, here we have the heavy bowgun ammo comparison. So you take them all, you look at them, the top poison monsters heavy bowgun ammo as of Season 5. And if you take a look at it, Chameleos has the powerful ability to stun with Sticky and do heavy damage with Cluster. So it gives you the ability to stun, and you can angle Cluster Bomb to do it that way. But let me sell Gold Rothian to you and why it's so dang high. You only have 2 ammo types, Pierce and Poison. Pierce ammo at 8 is insane. You can literally just machine gun down after inflicting poison. And with the way poison works with poison ammo, you don't need to be behind, you just need to land your shots. So if you land your shots, poison ammo is able to proc poison. So with that being said, combine poison exploit and heavy bowgun just tears through the sky with Gold Rothian. So unfortunately, that's just the way it is when it comes to Chameleos and the heavy bowgun. Speaking of damage, if we're going to talk about the King of Kings, the Goat of Goats when it comes to range, it's definitely and eloquently the bow. And here's the poison monster type's bow damage comparison. Now we rule out Gold Rothian because if you guys don't know, or for those who don't know, Gold Rothian is actually a dragon type for the bow. There's actually no poison bow when it comes to the Gold Rothian in Monster Hunter now. And as we see per the data, Chameleos is of course the strongest. When you rule out Gold Rothian, there's only kind of one thing left. And it is a super weapon. That's why it is a whooping 21% more than Rothian, which is a lot. When we start going to double digits, that's a lot. Combined with how status works, it is effectively the most powerful poison weapon in the game. As of bows with charge level 3 and powerful damage level 4, this is what you get. And this is what, if you're a bow enthusiast like me or like a metagame enthusiast, the bow's what we've been waiting for. So definitely look forward to the bow coming out as the first poison bow super weapon in the game. And with that, we're going to compare all the poison monster type bow shot types and compare them all. There's only 3, but if you look at all of them all, per the data, Chameleos has rapid level 4 at charge level 3, which is 2 blinks. You hold your charge for 2 blinks, bam, you have a rapid. And it qualifies as a super weapon thanks to this mechanic. With the Chameleos bow, you will be able to rapidly proc poison and deal heavy damage with rapid's accuracy and poison skill combos. So rapid is actually the weakest shot type. However, you need your shots to land in order for you to inflict poison. Combine this with the fact that Rapid is accurate and it's faster and got a buff in the recent updates. Rapid is actually extremely well with status. So that's why combine that with Poison Exploit and Status Sneak Attack, which is what the Chameleos bow has, and we're going to look at that skill in a bit. You have a recipe of destruction using the Chameleos bow. And here's what I'm talking about it when it comes to the poison monster type skills. So we're going to take a look at them all, and with Chameleos, of course, every Elder Dragon weapon has Hunter's Unity, but it has Status Sneak Attack level 2. You go to the behind of the monster, you slap the behind of the monster, and then it allows you to inflict status faster when you attack a monster from its behind. However, overall, Gold Rothian still has the best skill with Poison Exploit level 2. Even if you do inflict poison on a monster, you still need to do damage to finish it off unless you're in a group hunt. That's where Poison Exploit comes in. Damage high, status low is still generally the meta because of the fact Poison Exploit exists. Not saying that high status and high damage isn't bad and that's what Chameleos gives you, but the fact of the matter is, if you like data is data and facts are facts, Poison Exploit is goated, and that's what you need when it comes to a poison build if you want the best of the best. And last but not least, we have the overall analysis for the Chameleos weapons. Here I have the overall arcing archetype for what you generally want for each weapon type, or combined with, for example, range, because light bowgun, heavy bowgun, and bow are its own separate category. You have melee and then you have ranged. But generally for melee, you want Gold Rothian for damage. Poison Exploit is just too dang good. Gold Rothian is still the GOAT, and it's still better than Chameleos when it comes to melee because it's more of a support thing for Chameleos. Yeah, you want to poison it, but poison can only proc so much. And when you do it, you need to finish it off with that melee damage. For the light bowgun, again, same thing. Gold Rothian for damage, Chameleos for support, doesn't change. For the heavy bowgun, this is where things change. Gold Rothian, hands down. Gold Rothian is just too dang good with Poison Exploit for the heavy bowgun. You got it and you maxed it, great. You don't need to go after Chameleos. And with the bow, of course, that's where it flips the script. If you want the GOAT of GOATs, the best of the best, I keep saying that phrase, it is definitely the Chameleos bow. But wait, there's more. Because when it comes to Chameleos weapons, there's actually some special things about them when it comes to their weapon types. The Chameleos dual blades are the first and only poison dual blades. Yay, dual blades mains like me. If I wasn't a meta slave, you could call me that, I don't care. I would definitely be going after dual blades because dual blades, been using it since I first started Monster Hunter 1. And when we move on to the charge blade, it has impact files. I forgot what poison files are in Monster Hunter, so you can put in the comments to correct me. I have no idea what they are. But for you Gunlance users, rejoice because it is long shell type. So for you charge Gunlance enthusiasts, you may cheese your way to victory, and then you can worm stake shot the booty cheeks and clap the monster with poison against whichever one you're using, which would effectively make the Chameleos Gunlance if you are a Gunlance user and you want to use charge Gunlance style. May you rejoice again because Chameleos is the weapon for you. But if you're looking for the GOAT of GOATs and not the cheese of cheese, the Chameleos bow is the super weapon and would be the strongest poison weapon in the game. Put it all together, of course, super weapons are the strongest weapons, and bow has most of, not all of them, except for the Mr. Beast Sword and Shield. And it's the same thing with the bow. As for the rest, Gold Rothian is the best due to positive affinity and Poison Exploit unless it doesn't have a weapon type that Chameleos has. So again, Gold Rothian doesn't have all the weapon types, so unless it's like the dual blades where it's the first Chameleos weapon that has poison, yeah, you want to use Gold Rothian because Poison Exploit level 2 is just too good to pass up. And that was a whole lot of talking, but I'm just really excited because I'm going to go ham for this thing. Hopefully this helps you decide what Chameleos weapon you want to go after. And I'm going ham because it's going to make its debut in the Spring Hunt ticketed event. So grind as much as you can. It's totally possible to 10-5 an Elder Dragon weapon. I've done it before during one weekend, and I'm going to do it here. Especially with the Exchange Hub and all the other things. It's going to be a lot of fun. With that being said, please do me a huge favor. Like, subscribe, and comment for the YouTube algorithm. If you can't grind a ticket event, don't worry. It's going to come out in its own events, just like it did for the other Elder Dragons, so don't sweat it. Good luck on your grinds. Good luck on your ticket event if you are playing this weekend, and I will see y'all on the next video.